Self-proclaimed socialist and Democrat mayoral candidate in New York City, Zohran Mamdani, is appearing to go against all his own policies, from celebrating his wedding in his billionaire-laden Ugandan neighborhood to employing armed guards. This despite plans to defund the police and ban them from wearing masks. Well, let's get out to correspondent Christina Thompson, who is joining us now with the details of this lavish affair that even locals say was tone deaf. Christina.
Quite the security there for a wedding, but yes, indeed, he was in Uganda for the past 2 weeks celebrating his marriage. He did actually elope with his wife several months ago, so this was their marriage celebration. But that party, man, it was taking place at the more than $1 million estate guarded by masked riflemen, which has as many critics pointing out that this is quite at odds with his call to give private property to the poor, defund the New York City police, and demask ICE officers. Now, meanwhile, one of his most cherished ideas comes in for a severe reality check. We're talking government-run grocery stores in Kansas. This experiment is failing, and it's costing the city a pretty penny, to the tune of millions of dollars. Even the Washington Post, on a trip to the now infamous grocery store that is city-run in Kansas City, finds that the government store is indeed failing. KC Sunfresh lost $885,000 last year and now only has about 4,000 shoppers a week. That's down from 14,000 a few years ago, according to Emmett Pearson Jr., who leads Community Builders of Kansas City. That's the nonprofit that leases the site from the city. Now, despite a recent $750,000 cash infusion by the city to the shelves, they remain mostly bare. One reporter who visited the grocery store said, quote, "A single tomato is all that's left in one section of the produce at KC Sunfresh." Now, Bianca, many of his critics are looking at what he says versus what he does, and the two do not match up. Back to you.
All right, Christina, thank you so much. Now to our left-right panel to talk about this and some other news. Pleased to have on the right Julie Harris. She is the president of the National Federation of Republican Women. And on the left, Grant Stern, executive editor of Occupy Democrats. Hi, guys. Great to see you on a Monday. You know, obviously, this was lavish. You know, there's, all these security guards. I don't know, billionaires live in the neighborhood. It's okay to be a billionaire if you're in Uganda, but New York City, that seems to smack in the face of a lot of the way New Yorkers see their city. Grant, would you have asked him to tone it down a little, maybe not do all the bells and whistles for this?
Look, I think that Mr. Mamdani is doing nothing wrong, because I've seen a lot of people that are self-proclaimed socialists, but they're very good capitalists. They save money, they make money. I wouldn't say that just because he claims he's a socialist means he's not going to go out there and make money or do anything that's not socialist. And the fact of the matter is that he's making a lot of promises that either he can't keep or nobody should want him to keep in reality. Nobody says that New York City public housing is the greatest thing ever. I mean, when I ask my friends about it who grew up in New York City, they're like, the projects, we want more of that? I think that Mr. Mamdani's ideas are just outdated stuff, rehashed from the 1970s. It's stuff that Bernie Sanders left behind a long time ago. And frankly, it's just not right for a modern era in the United States. We have a mixed market. That means we have public-private partnerships when we want the government to do something.
To be on the left and breaking with him, maybe you need to pick up the phone and talk to him, because it seems like he has really not dialed back some of the things that he's planning to do, which you even say won't work. Julie, I want to turn to Jay Leno. What wasn't working was Colbert, apparently financial decision according to CBS. He came out and tried to make it political. But Jay Leno, who was one of the best Emerson alum, where I went to school, I would say, is coming out talking about why comedians should just try to be funny and not just be one-sided. Here's Leno.
Why shoot for just half an audience all the time? Why not try to get the whole? I mean, I like to bring people into the big picture. I don't understand why you would alienate one particular group, or just don't do it at all. I'm not saying you have to throw your support or whatever, but just do what's funny,
And if you have any question about Colbert's content, since 2022, 176 left-leaning guests and only one Republican. So he's doing what Leno says wouldn't work, and apparently it didn't work. Julie, first to you.
Yeah, I mean, entertainment used to be a way to bring people together. It's been quite some time since that had happened. You would think that comedians would want to bring out the laughter. You know, a merry heart doeth good. Laughter is healing for a nation that's divided. It would be great to see comedians get back to doing what they do best, which is comedy. What we have seen is that America has rejected this Hollywood influence that tries to sway elections. And we've seen the Democrat Party go in heavy for paying for these celebrity influencers, but America's rejecting it, and they're voting by turning their TV off.
Yeah, well, let's get into that and widen out the conversation when it comes to endorsements. And Grant can also pick up on Leno's discussions. But President Trump posted about that endorsement from Beyonce to Kamala. President Trump says Kamala Harris should be prosecuted along with Beyonce, Oprah Winfrey, and Al Sharpton for the fees that they were paid during 2024. A large amount of money, he writes on Truth Social, owed by the Democrats after the presidential election. Al Sharpton, a total lightweight, and others to be named for doing absolutely nothing. He says these are ridiculous fees, broke the law. They should all be prosecuted. It is totally illegal to do so. Grant, I'm not sure if they will prosecute them, but there is a question about paid endorsements from celebrities. And to Julie's point, too, do they even work anymore?
I mean, let's start with the first part. Do celebrity endorsements work? I think to a degree, some of them do. They may catch some low information voters. But these are not paid endorsements, okay? That's first of all. And second of all, why is Donald Trump so concerned about relitigating the 2024 election when prices are still rising? The CPI just went up 2.7% last month in a surprise hike. The price of beef is up 9% this year alone. In just the last 6 months, he's not doing anything about it.
Harpo Productions was paid. Al Sharpton has an organization that was paid, and then he did a lightweight interview.
But Al Sharpton is not his organization.
Just want to get clear on that.
Yeah, I mean, Al Sharpton
he went and did
a
sit-down piece with her on MSNBC, very flattering, and Oprah Harpo was paid. So you're saying they're not paid, and that's just not
Harpo
accurate.
was paid.
So I have to
listen,
push
if Harpo
you
was
back
paid
on
for some sort of production cost, then I'm sure it was paid for a production cost. But that's not the same as giving a check to the actual person. It's not the same as giving a check to the actual person. It's just not.
You're splitting hairs here. All right, Julie Harris, Grant Stearns, good to have you both at Grant Stearns. Thank you so much. I hope to see you back here soon. It's always an interesting conversation on the take of all these things.
Thanks for having us.